Hello. My name is Ryan. I'm going to be painting. So, got me some more skateboards. I've already been plugging away on this for a little bit. Tack it with some more cerulean blue. Maybe. Yeah, I'll go with this one first. It's debating, do I go with this or the Not Tiff from Culture Hustle? I think I'll go with this one. Let's see where to put it, right there. So, it's fun. I was, scrolling through YouTube a little bit earlier, seeing what's on my feed, because I like to see what the algorithm likes to churn up. And it churned up this video. Let's see, I just had it pulled up because I've never seen the creator before. Inspired to write. We need men's art. Thank you. I appreciate you. But it's a fascinating take on it. And she touched on a lot of really good points. Like her partner's perspective as far as like men aren't really allowed to be creative unless it's utilitarian. Which makes sense. It's like that is a thing. Like if it's as long as it's utilitarian and can be monetized, it's okay for you to do. But if it's just creative for fun to actually like derive enjoyment from, it's like stop being a pussy. So yeah, do need men's art. And I think she's definitely onto something. It's like if we want to really curb off the Andrew Taints of the world, we need to be comfortable being vulnerable and allow ourselves to just create. And that's something like I've struggled with over the years. Because there is this thing where it's like everybody who like sees my artwork and sees the amount that I'm churning out in person, and they go like, oh my goodness, you should sell that stuff. And then I eventually start listening to them, and then I try to do it. And honestly, it kills my creativity. If I try to monetize any of my artwork, it's done. It takes me months to get back on track with and it's a hit. This is a very meditative process. This isn't being created for anybody else other than myself. It's like I just came across this video the other day. It was like some guy on TikTok. It was like artists, not being happy with their work and then coming back to it a couple weeks later and just loving it. And it's like, nah, that's not how I operate. I operate the opposite way around. I work on it until I fucking love it. Then I'll sit and live with it. And if I don't enjoy it, if I don't enjoy living with it after a week or two, it gets painted over. Like it does not get circulated. You all get to see it here, but like it's most likely not going to go out into the world in any way, shape, or form other than this at a glance. But speaking of this, I did buy a domain name, so colorful-discussions.com. It's coming soon. I mean, the main goal being like more of a repository for the finished works, and if anybody wants to showcase it anywhere, if you do want to buy anything, good luck. Fill out the contact form. Make me an offer, because right now I haven't really thought about it. I reached out to a few people recently just to get an idea, like people that I trust within the art community locally. And I might take any sort of monetizing thing from there, but like I hate it. Back to the topic. Yeah. She makes some very good points. It's like there's this overwhelming sense of malaise, redundancy, and lack of validation in the arts for men, which is an interesting take. I mean, even though it's like some of the most well-known artists in the world are men, but that usually happens after they die. You know, and right now, when it comes to being creative, especially in this current atmosphere, with all these taints in the world, I think it's more important now, more so than ever, for men to come out and just, hey, we like to be creative and fun too. And not be ashamed for it. And she also touched on a very interesting point that resonated for me, was like, even when it's not like an overt, like you can't do this, there's like a societal implications. Like if it's not monetizable and it's not there, like you really can't indulge in it. Therefore, you can't really ever flex that creative muscle. And over time, it builds up this frustration. And I mean, there's a lot of people who will, no, it just builds up. And I think it is the leading cause for the midlife crisis in men. Like I can identify that with myself. Like I didn't allow myself to really be creative or be who I was, and was conforming more so than anybody asked of me, just because of the societal norms and perceived expectations. And once, late 30s hit and lots of stressful stuff went down, oh my goodness. I mean, there's a reason I'm covered in tattoos. That's all late 30s. Like I had a couple tattoos before then, but that was more like a realizing you have to really burn down that fake persona that you were adhering to in order to just enjoy life and get back to what matters. And like I was telling my son this morning, it's like art is all over us. Like the sun this morning coming up over the mountains, hitting the silos in the background as I was taking him to school. It's just like, it's beautiful. It's art. Just enjoy it. And like Josh Johnson has mentioned in a couple of his stand-up routines, art saves lives. And that's never a truer statement has been spoken. Speaking of men really being creative, kudos to you. And putting it out there. Yeah, that's actually how I got in the conversation with my kid this morning. It was about art saves lives. Because he was asking about, because I was pulled out all my paintings. Because since I bought the website, I need to photograph all this nonsense. And he's just wondering, why is there so much? It's because it's like it really pays to have a creative outlet that allows you to slow down and think, and be more of a meditative process. In the dialectical behavioral therapy world, this would be an excellent mindfulness activity. And that's another thing. It's like, men, get comfortable with therapy. Oh my goodness, everybody get them comfortable with therapy. Even though it's exceptionally difficult right now. It seems like everybody is actually getting comfortable with therapy. It's just there's not that many competent therapists. So hopefully that gap tightens up. But I don't know with the way things are going. And it's funny, I've been thinking about, like, what is driving all this misogyny nonsense in the world? And I hadn't thought about that perspective. Because she also goes into, like, how frequently in the art community, there's like an overwhelming, or I wouldn't say in the art community, let's see, just a general consensus that men should shut up, which is annoying because that's more of like there's a lot of people who should have rethought what they were saying and try to, like, find some middle ground. Instead, they were stubborn and misogynistic about it, and they doubled down. And now we have shut the fuck up as a baseline. Hey, Menace. How you doing this morning?